Spider-Man is my second favorite superhero after Batman, and he's many people's favorite superhero. It makes sense that he's so popular since almost everybody loves him. Today's video is what made Spider-Man, the animated series, a masterpiece. Spider-Man the Animated Series was made in 1994. This show is my favorite version of Spider-Man. This show was pretty much what made me love Spider-Man so much, and what made him not only my favorite Marvel, but my second favorite superhero. There's many aspects of this show that are just done so right, and it makes you just love it because so many people love this show more than any other Spider-Man shows, and just they love this take on Spider-Man so much more, even though it's animated. And even when you compare it to all the live action portrayals of Spider-Man, I'm gonna say it, I like this one way more, and I feel like they don't compare. Even if I do like all of the live action ones, without a doubt, this is my favorite version of Spider-Man. This is the Spider-Man that made me really just love the character, and he's my favorite version. So the actor who actually voice acted Spider-Man in the show was Christopher Daniel Barnes, and his voice acting is so good. His voice, it feels like the right Spider-Man voice. It feels so accurate. It's almost like from Batman the Animated Series, like with all those voice actors for the characters, like Mark Hamill for the Joker and Kevin Conroy for Batman. Christopher Daniel Barnes, he feels like he is the voice for Spider-Man. It just feels like the character. It feels like comic accurate. And all the characters in the show, they just feel so accurate, and it feels like the true comic accurate portrayal. And another great thing about the show is it never feels boring. The whole time, there's no parts that, just feel like filler, or they feel a little off, or, it just always feels fun. It always feels engaging, entertaining. It always just felt like it never got boring, and it always felt like I was having a good time watching it, and it kept my interest. I think the character designs for the show are also very good. Whether it's Spider-Man, the Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, the character designs are very good. And I want to point out some other characters than just Spider-Man that were just nailed in the show, like Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Venom, Carnage, Mary Jane, Mr. Jameson, Dr. Octopus. All of these characters, and even many more, they were just done so well, and they just feel so accurate, and they feel like the actual character. Like if you were reading the comics, this would be how the character would properly be portrayed in a show. I even feel like Aunt May was portrayed great in this show as well. One thing about the show I like way more about any other shows or movies is that how Mary Jane is portrayed in the show. And all the other ones, I don't really like her character that much. I don't think she's that great of a character, but in this show, she feels more likable. She feels like more important to the show. She has a good character design, and she's overall just used much more effectively. This show had so many great villains. Like I mentioned before, it had Green Goblin, it had Hobgoblin, Venom, Carnage, Dr. Octopus. It also had Rhino, Mysterio, the Lizard, Electro, Scorpion, and many other great villains as well. So I would say that's just another aspect of the show that they nailed, having so many villains, and so many villains that are portrayed amazingly. It makes the show always feel alive. It makes the show always feel like the storyline is engaging, and like Spider-Man's enemy is helping create more for the show to be better. So this show also made me like so many of Spider-Man's villains, and these versions of the character are the ones that I like. I also want to point out that I really like that Hobgoblin is in the show, and I also really like that Mark Hamill voiced him, because Mark Hamill, obviously, he voices the Joker, and the Joker is my favorite villain of all time. I love his Joker voice and laugh. Seeing him get to portray and voice act as Hobgoblin, I just really liked. And it made him become my favorite Spider-Man villain other than Green Goblin. I just really like Hobgoblin's voice in the show. Mark Hamill did another really good job with this character, and I really like Hobgoblin's character design in this show. I love so many of the character designs in the show. They just feel so much better and so much cooler than other versions of these characters in other movies and TV shows. This show always made it feel like Spider-Man was just going on a crazy adventure. It was just so fun and well done. When I finished watching the show, I wanted it to continue, because where they left off and finished the show was kind of weird. It seemed like it was supposed to continue. Spider-Man was supposed to save Mary Jane, but I don't know, something happened. I don't know exactly. I think something happened. They decided to end the show, leave it like that. But I really wanted the show to continue, and at least to get a sequel to the show, for them to make a show, a sequel following up show, but they never did. And I hope one day, maybe they choose to, because this show was so great. And this is the take on Spider-Man that I love. I feel like the show is also so great because it's very similar to Batman the Animated Series with the way things were done. Obviously, because the same people pretty much made it, but their main focus is like they had great voice acting. It was always fun. So many great storylines. The animation looked great. Maybe it wasn't the highest quality, but it still had a really cool design and style. They made it feel like every character was given effort to make, and they wanted all the characters to feel amazing and like the most accurate and just definitive take on the character, just pretty much like how they are in the comics. And I love that they chose to do this, because it just made these shows so much better. There's so many great episodes in this show as well, with the first episode having the Lizard as the main villain in it, and immediately the show, it just starts so great. So it's not like you have to get into it and wait a few episodes for it to start getting good. Since the beginning, the show is good, and it's good just continually the whole time. It's great. You're never gonna get bored. It's like, I even love the intro to this show and the song. It's just like perfect. That's what makes it a masterpiece. When a show can always be good, start to the end, and you want the show to continue, and you love all the aspects of the show, there's not really anything about the show that I would say that is done bad. I mean, obviously it could have been higher quality maybe, but this show is from the 90s. So, and the quality isn't even that bad. It's not that old. It's not like it's from, the 70s, the 80s. I think like usually when shows and movies are from those times, they tend to be a little bit, too bad of quality. But these 90s shows, they're still great. They included so many characters that, aren't very popular or aren't used very often, and we don't get to see very often, that I liked as well. Morbius, the vampire. I thought he was a really cool villain, and his story was done so well. We got to see how he became a vampire and how it completely just ruined his life in a way. It felt like they tried so hard with it. It felt like it was done so well. It felt like you could feel that emotions were put into it. It makes you feel more connected. I thought the storyline was very interesting, and I thought his character was very interesting. I'm glad that he was included in the show, but that's just one character that was included in the show that we usually don't get to see, that made the show even better. This show did so many different things great, and made things feel so accurate. I just wish more TV shows and movies were trying to be more like this show, because I don't like the other Spider-Man movies and TV shows as much. They're not nearly as good to me. I don't really care about them as much. I don't really like them as much, and I wouldn't even say it's close. So if they were trying to be more like this show, they would be way better, and I'm sure way more people would like it a lot more as well, because so many people who have watched this show love it. So if more movies and TV shows were trying to be based on this TV show, or did more things like this TV show, try to be more comic accurate, and just overall it felt like they put more effort into all the characters and the storyline, I think that the show or movie will be so much better. Also, I think that the voice of the characters matter much more than a lot of these shows and movies are taking into account. They don't seem to realize how important the voice of a character is. That's something that matters to me so much, and this show, it nails it. Spider-Man the Animated Series, one of its biggest, greatest aspects is how great the voice acting is. All the characters' voices are not only, so accurate and feel like they're accurate, but they're just so great. And many of the voices, you can tell, actually takes some skill to do. So that's why these Spider-Man movies and TV shows need to do it as well. It makes the character feel so much better just having a certain voice. Obviously, this show, just being an animated series and being one of the first that were based on the comics, it makes a lot more sense that they were much more focused on the voice, since the actors, they were only voice actors, but they nailed the part. So many different things happened in the show. It didn't feel like, sometimes there wasn't much happening. There was always an adventure. There was always just exciting adventures Spider-Man was going on. It was non-stop. That's something a lot of other shows and movies suffer from. It doesn't always feel so exciting. It doesn't always feel like something interesting and something amazing and just important is happening. But this show, they're overall in so many different aspects just very good. All these different aspects that I mentioned, they took into account and they made great. So this show is just so well rounded. I feel like the actors did a great job. The people, the producers did a good job. The writers did a good job. I think that this show overall is just such a well-rounded package. I can rewatch the show, and I'm actually doing that right now, and it's still so great. Like, it's even rewatchable just because the show is that great. The first time I watched the show was maybe 5 years ago, and I really loved it. So it's nice to come back 5 years later and get to watch it again, get to go through the experience again, because obviously it's been a long time, so it's not as on my mind anymore, and I don't remember it as well at first. But then when I'm watching the show back, I'm getting to remember, oh yeah, I remember this, and it feels great. It's just a show, it's one of those. It's just like Batman the Animated Series or the Arkham games for me that I like so much. This show, it's the definitive version of Spider-Man and all of Spider-Man's characters and storylines for me getting portrayed on screen. Well, that's what made Spider-Man the Animated Series a masterpiece. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think this is the best Spider-Man animated series or show? And do you think it's better than all the other Spider-Man shows and even movies? Have you watched the show? What was your favorite portrayal of a character in the show? And what made you like the show? Remember to subscribe and to turn on notifications. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another Cosmic Chaos video. Bye!